What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video I will be reviewing episode 190 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, titled Escape. So this episode started off with Konohamaru in the Hokage's office talking to Naruto, Sai, and Shikamaru and telling them everything that happened on the mission. And Naruto had made the decision that he was going to go to the city that Kawaki was in and go into that scientific laboratory, that scientific ninja tool lab, and see if Kawaki was safe enough to come in the village, or basically see if he can come in the village. Sai told him that he should be careful because they just can't be letting anybody into the village, especially since they know he's connected to Korra. So, and then it was Kawaki in the lab, and they basically did some research on him and found out that his body has his cells, I guess they said something like his cells split apart a lot, and he has super that allows him to strengthen and weaken his body whenever he wants to, and he can it also allows him to regenerate. So so we found out more about him. That's obviously one of the main reasons they brought him to the lab, was because he was extremely hurt. So they can also treat him there. And he was also one of the reasons was they needed to do more research on him, which they clearly did. And also to keep him, they needed to make sure he was safe enough to come into the village. Now, one thing that I said last week in my last review was, I think that I basically thought that those handcuffs that he had on, I thought that had something to do with his chakra draining or whatever. And that's probably how they was able to keep him, to the point where he wasn't able to break out, because obviously, something like that shouldn't be able to restrain him unless it's, doing something to his chakra or whatever. But in this episode, Katasuke said that basically we don't think he's going to be able to. He said that his chakra recovered, and he basically said that's because he has good regeneration. But he also said that they don't think he has enough chakra to do anything right now, which is kind of weird. Once again, so basically the whole thing with the handcuffs, that wasn't confirmed, but I still think that it's something to do with those handcuffs, because you can see this little red, you can see some this red outline, and it looked like, and Kawaki's karma seal is actually red. So, that could have something to do with his chakra. Maybe, of course it can't be draining his chakra completely, or else because he'll die like that. But it does seem like maybe it keeps his chakra at a level to where he can't use any of his powers. But also, like Boruto, he got mad at Kawaki because Kawaki kicked some food or whatever that Sumire brought in the room for him, and Boruto grabbed Kawaki's shoulder, and it actually seemed like Kawaki was in pain from because of that. Now, one thing I forgot to talk about in my last review was Kawaki actually wasn't at full power when he fought Garo. He was at, even Garo said that he was in a weakened condition or whatever, something along those lines. He wasn't at full power. He wasn't at full power when he fought Garo. So you see how strong he was when he fought Garo, especially when he activated his karma seal. Even before he activated his karma seal, he was having a fairly, back and forth fight against Garo. But then Garo got the upper hand, and then Kawaki ended up winning the fight once he activated the karma seal. So something I forgot to mention is, even in that fight, Kawaki wasn't at full power. If he was at full power, because they actually said, either in that episode or the episode before that, they say he wasn't at full power. And he also just got done fighting those puppets as well. But anyways, if he was at full power, he most likely would have been able to beat Garo without even using his karma seal. Now think about that. Garo was extremely strong, and Kawaki had a one-on-one fight against him, and he was able to beat him while he was actually weakened. He was actually in a weakened condition. Whereas Boruto, he needed Konohamaru's help, he needed Sarda's help, he needed Miski's help. He needed all their help in order to beat Ayo, because all of them helped out in the fight against Ayo. And Boruto was actually at full power, I believe. And yeah, he was at full power. And yeah, he needed all their help. He needed all their help to beat Ayo. So yeah, that also shows the difference in power between Kawaki and the rest of Team 7. Kawaki, he took out Outer by himself, whereas all the Team 7 needed to work together to take out Outer. But yeah, I just found that whole thing, just kind of weird of Kawaki being hurt by Boruto, squeezing his shoulder. I mean, I know he just got done. I know he just got out of a fight, and whatever they explained with his cells, that could have something to do with it. But that's just extremely weird. That was never, something that happened in the manga. Is in the manga, he was never like in a super weakened condition after he had a fight. So this is just, honestly, I'll say this is, not only is it really weird, I'll say this is a slightly negative thing that's happening. I mean, a slightly negative thing that they did in the episode. I mean, maybe they can't explain this further. I mean, I guess it might have something to do with his sales and or whatever. But anyways, yeah, it just seemed pretty weird to me. Now, then what happened was Kawaki, he basically made a request to go to the bathroom, and Team 7 walked him to the bathroom. They walked past this, well, actually, Sumire had actually told him that they were in a scientific ninja tool lab, and that's what gave him the idea to, request to go to the bathroom, because when he was walking to the bathroom, he had seen, some of the people work on them scientific ninja tools, and then when they came out the room, he had bumped into one of them and took one of those flash bombs type things. I believe it was the same thing that Sarda used in her fight against Boruto Mitsuki, but yeah, he had taken one of those, and then they continued to go to the bathroom, and then he basically, dropped that flash bomb, and that, basically stopped Boruto Mitsuki from seeing it, and then he escaped into the vents of the scientific ninja tool lab, and he tried to escape. And then Sumire had ended up, chasing him down, and she tried to fight him a little bit. He was kicking her around a little bit, and then she tripped him. The animation during that scene was kind of weird, because it looked like, at first it looked like he, kicked her with his right leg, and she grabbed his leg, and then I thought she tripped his left leg, but it actually seemed like it was his right leg. I mean, it actually looked like it was his right leg. So yeah, the animation was, I would say, probably a little bit off in that scene, and it might have been a little animation error in there. But anyways, then the new came, and then, like, at first Sumire told the new to stay back, and I think the reason is because she still doesn't, despite the fact that she's been at that scientific ninja tool laboratory in order to try to figure out how she could probably use science to, have a better relationship with the New Way and actually control the New Way better. It seems like the New Way is still not under her control, and the guy just went completely crazy. Like, the New Way, he turned into like his bigger form, and he just destroyed. He hurt Kawaki badly. Like, he bit his arm. He was biting into his arm, and Kawaki was bleeding and stuff. And then he just threw Kawaki across the staircase. And yeah, that was, that was pretty. I mean, it was pretty interesting seeing that. And Kawaki was like, he told Sumire, "It's you keep that thing as a pet. You're a monster just like me." And he said, "It seems like you're a monster just like me." And then he ran away. And he said he got to get as far away from Jigen as he can. And yeah, they actually revisited that flashback where Jigen actually I guess you could say purchased or bought Kawaki or whatever from his dad. And they still didn't add in that little bit of dialogue, but who knows? They might revisit that flashback again in the future. But they still didn't add in that little bit of dialogue from Kawaki's father that we got in the manga. So yeah, that was the episode. I think Sumire, she had to get the New Way under control, which is probably why she didn't follow him right away, because she had to get the New Way under control. They can't necessarily, I mean, it doesn't seem like they want to hurt Kawaki. They just, want him, don't want him roaming around, because they really don't know that much about him. And so, anyways, yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty great episode. It had a few, like, minor problems, but these are very, very minor nitpicks. Mainly, I mean, only minor nitpicks was the whole thing with the animation a little bit. And I think I said, yeah, no, I think that was pretty much one of the only nitpicks. But, yeah, overall, it was a great episode. And some people might not think it's necessary. I think it was, I think this episode was understandable, because they needed to do research on Kawaki. It was actually talked about in the manga as far as all of the stuff that was going on with his body. They needed to do more research on him. And the stuff that they mentioned in this episode, after obviously doing research on him, that was stuff that they mentioned in that was stuff that Naruto mentioned in the 5 Kage Summit in the manga. So this is kind of connecting some of the dots from the manga, giving us a little bit more detail and depth to the story that they're adapting from the manga, and, showing us certain things that was mentioned in the manga. So yeah, them doing research on him, that made sense. And I wonder if they're going to change the way Kawaki, first met Naruto. Like if Naruto's gonna meet him at that laboratory, or if they're gonna keep things the same like how it was in the manga, where the first time Kawaki met Naruto was when he was in the Hidden Leaf Village in that hospital. So I wonder how they're gonna do that. Either way, the way they're handling this stuff with Kawaki is great. You know, the fact that Kawaki's in the anime now is fantastic, and I'm all for them adding anime original stuff into the story from the manga at this point, because the more Kawaki, the better. The longer they can make this arc, I'm all for it. As long as they keep it interesting, they don't contradict anything from the manga, and they keep the story quality and the art and animation at a high level. So as long as they do those things, then I'm basically fine with them adding anime original stuff in there. And also, I seen some of the summaries for the next couple of episodes, and I think in episode 192 is going to be when we're getting back into the manga stuff. So I think episode 190, I heard that they're going to have something where Sumire talks to Kawaki about her past and stuff. And then episode 192, I believe that's when Kawaki is going to be back in the Hidden Leaf Village. I mean, when he's going to be in the Hidden Leaf Village. Now, with that being said, yeah, I think it was a great episode overall. In terms of story, 10 out of 10. In terms of art, I'll say 9.5. Because I did see some weird art. It was just like one scene where like Kawaki was in the hospital and his legs looked extremely weird. But yeah, so 9.5 out of 10 for the art. 9.5 out of 10 for the animation, and 10 out of 10 for the story. Overall, a 10 out of 10 episode. Another fantastic episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. I'm really happy that we're finally in the era of Kawaki. We're finally in the Kawaki arc in the Boruto anime. And yeah, just some fantastic stuff going on. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you liked the video, please drop a like, comment, let me know what you thought of the review and of the episode in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.